am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question.
Is there a climate activist who is not a complete hypocrite? Honest question. I'm not like trying to make fun. Like it's a genuine question. If you know any climate activist that's not even necessarily a spokesperson, but like a random Joe that really is concerned about the climate and lives the type of life that he would want you to live. So let's say he doesn't use any air conditioning. He uses just normal fans. He doesn't use a car. He takes a bike or he's using public transport as often as possible. He doesn't eat meat. He sticks to vegan or maybe some insect diet. He doesn't fly commercial. Like every single time he wants to travel, he takes a bike. Do you know any of these people? And by the way, don't tell me some homeless person, because that don't count. It needs to be a person of means that could actually have the temptation of living the wrong type of life. Oh, and by the way, if they have a gaming PC, that's also a bad thing, because it costs a lot of electricity. Electricity usually comes from a coal plant or from a gas plant. But anyway, we're asking for the bare minimum here. Do you know in your circle of friends a person that is an environmentalist, doesn't have a car, so he just either walks around, uses a bike, doesn't use air conditioning, and most importantly has money? So we're not talking about someone that's low income, like someone that's at least medium income and could afford all these but chooses not to buy them. Because I don't know a single person like that in my entire life. Every single person that has money has air conditioning, regardless if they vote green or not. So please enlighten me. Like, I'm not being ironic. Now, you may be wondering, why am I going with this? Well, in the United Kingdom, recently, there was a protest, an environmental protest. And, of course, they shut down an entire highway because that's how they can protest, right? Like, normal people, if they have something that's of an important grievance, just by walking down the street, they're going to pick up more members. But no, like the environmentalists have to do all of these things which bother you in order for you to care. But apparently, like, people didn't care because it was very bad optics. You see, they blocked the highway. Apparently, a woman had to go to the hospital right away, and the ambulance couldn't pass. They didn't even allow the ambulance to pass, so she got paralyzed. Couple of other people, cancer patients, couldn't make it to the hospital on time. And there were some individuals which had an important job interview and they couldn't make it because of it. So misery all around. And the media decides to allow the spokesperson for these people to go on television and ask, the fuck do you want?
For a start, because I think where you're coming from is pure hypocrisy as well.
Sorry, is that the case? Is your home not insulated, Liam?
Susanna, whether my
just answer the question, Liam. It's not, is it? We know it's not.
whether my home is insulated or not doesn't change the fact that millions of people's homes aren't insulated.
Hang on a moment.
Not
Sorry,
going to be.
Is this the case? You're saying you would risk your life? Risk your life?
State of things.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
So, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen watching this programme, we now know that these protesters are actually following...
So, of course, he pulls a Joe Biden. And he could have picked any number of issues. Instead, he picks the idea that you need to insulate your house. Now, don't get me wrong, insulating your house is something that I would also recommend to people because in Eastern Europe, winters get really cold and it might save you a little bit on the gas bill. But insulating your house is something that you can do once you're building the house. That's what is the cheapest. Because if you already have a house and then you want to insulate it, well, that's going to cost a little bit extra. And not to mention, right now, when there's a shortage of everything, not only is it very expensive, it's also difficult to find people. So, not everyone can afford it, but I don't think the climatologist cares, because he's got money from the big corporations. They got money from influential people. Which is very interesting, because all those influential people, and those charitable bankers and those charitable left-leaning politicians, can't find a single person that actually lives the life. Like, I'm not asking for something far off here. Any other ideology, I can find people that legitimately live the ideology. I can find to you a Christian that is poor because he is giving all the wealth to the community. I genuinely know. I know it's shocking. Not a lot of priests are like this, but I can literally find like priests in Romania, in rural places, that actually, whenever they have money, they donate to the poor or they donate to the community. I know those people. I know vegans who actually eat vegan. They don't touch meat because they advocate other people to also eat vegan. So I literally know people of various ideologies that live their ideology. They live the life they want others to live. Like, for example, you have Mormons. And the Mormons say the church should get 9% of my income, or how much they advocate for. And they actually give that money to the church. I think it's 5, it's not 9. But you get the picture. Like, they live the life. But not with the climate activists. I don't think there is a single climate activist that genuinely tries to live the life he wants you to live. Even when it's something as basic as insulating your home when you're a rich guy. And they can't stand the questions, because that's the thing with the climate activists. They're never being challenged. And when they're being challenged, they do the Joe Biden. How many times did you see Greta Thunberg have to go on a debate with someone that's not on her same page? How many times do you see climate activists, and I'm not talking about the scientists that are crunching the numbers. No, I'm talking about the politicians that do politics. And they, all of the solutions for the climate change, literally every single one, doesn't hurt the government, doesn't hurt left-leaning people. Like, did you notice that? Probably why nuclear isn't on the table. Probably that's why. Because every single solution is to get more money from people, take away more liberty from people, create shortages artificially. Those are the solutions. Interesting. And the government makes more money. No wonder the rich are supporting it. It's like the idea that the left believes billionaires are evil, but billionaires want to save the planet. I don't know how they can have these two things in their head without causing a short circuit. Tell me a single corporation that's against saving the planet. Name me one. Name me a billionaire that's standing up and says, you know what? I think we should pollute because it's more profitable. Name me the billionaire. Hell, name me the millionaire. Name me the person that goes and does that. And also something that's interesting to note here is that the media gets to invite the people that are causing harm by blocking a highway. They get to invite the spokesperson. They wouldn't invite someone that's against, I don't know, mandatory COVID passes or something like that. Like you wouldn't see someone from those protests being invited. It's only like the acceptable protests that are being offered the platform. I mean, I would be curious to see what someone else that does protests has to say. Probably they can't speak, while they're getting beaten by the cops. Well, to be fair, in the UK it's not so bad. But I would be interested in seeing someone from Australia that has something to say. Like that would be newsworthy. You know, this is not part of the video subject, but still, like, why is that? It's a question, you know? And why is it that all the environmentalists are rich people? Where's the homeless person that's environmentalist coming on the news to tell you something? Like, why aren't the homeless people ever doing protests? Did you notice that? I mean, the homeless people would be the ones that have the most amount of protests to do. You would think the homeless people would be the first ones to start stopping highways and trying to raise awareness. They're not doing that, is it? So weird that all of these protests are being led by the wealthy. I just am starting to connect a couple of dots. Guess the noggin jogging, as an old friend of mine used to say. Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.